Somebody's even watching. Cool. Hey, this is the studio view for Paradigm Shift, which I'm about to fire up, and I'm still got my coffee coming, but thanks for joining. And let me see. I think I need to start streaming here. Hopefully I got this all. Oh, shit. Manage broadcasts. So let me try select existing. All right, there we go. All right, I think I'm live on Future Cannabis Project. Got my coffee. Coffee. Good morning, folks. Thanks for joining. Okay, let's see here. And doop here. Thanks for joining us on Future Cannabis Project. Let me get a little flute music for you. I'm pouring hot water. And had a little accident with the flute yesterday. Let's see if we can get her to play. Had a spotlight fall over and hit her. And I'm adjusting my stone set right now for you. Oh, I'm having a hard time getting this to sit. Let's see. I really love playing along with that intro song. Let's see if I can get this to. Hey, I have no idea. I can't see, for whatever reason, my streaming service is not giving me the chat. And I normally have chat, so I have no idea if you guys are there chatting or not. Thanks for joining me, Brian, there on studio. And we've got this going on. I guess there is one way I can check it out. Let's see. Be certain. I'm going to go here. And so you guys are just seeing me do weird stuff. But I'm going to go, I'm checking some things here on my, I don't have a web browser up. And we're going to content. I'm just making sure I had some setup issues, and I want to make sure I've got actual show going here. So, and then I go live. And yes, it says we're live now. Cool. So again, I can't see comments. I don't know what's going on there. And we're going to go right back into where we were before. Checking out there we are. Checking out my Instagram pages. Cool. And I'm pouring hot water for coffee. So where were we? I'm not sure if this is where we were. I wish the comments would come up for me. Sweet Blue Corn Woman, 15-year project mixing several Native American tribal heirloom corn flour and old Mexican sweet masa, maize, bred in open pollination, mostly here, but I ran an acre on the Smith Field in West Valley, Sadie's Pride Senegro. That was my organic veggie farm. I had five acres rolling for 6 years out, about 17 miles from my home. This project was sprayed with Roundup by a neighbor, landed me in county 46 days, losing my farm. I kicked the 70-cent fence slat after 8 years of my work had been sprayed with Roundup. And I ended up in jail over that. I lost my farm, almost lost my home. Couldn't get a job for 7 years. Pretty fucking crazy what they do to people. Actually, I had 3 warrantless searches in my home. They interrogated my child. They terrorized her at the age of 8. And yeah, it's fucking nuts. So it's not the government. It's individuals within the government that do these things. I hope you all understand that. We are the government. Government is made up of individuals. We all make choices. I pre-germinate to beat the ants and jumpstart the hot, dry sand. So it gets really hot and dry here. The ants come out pretty quick here. Things start sprouting about this time of year after we get 10 hours of daylight. Chickens have been eating everything. I let them run around. Chicken manure provides my nitrogen. Purslane, the living mulch or cover crop. I don't understand why more people don't use purslane in the cannabis industry. It's an amazing cover crop and superfood. I thin and feed the birds the purslane for better eggs. I'll be soaking Anasazi beans for planting out the squashes today too. This is dated 139 weeks ago, June 29th, 2019. So this is later in the season than right now. You got to wait for warm enough to get that corn to sprout and keep growing without rot issues when we get the cold cycles, April 15th or so. Let's see. Squash planted outside in the typical timing are not. Oh, so squash bugs, it's kind of a trip. There's like a timing period that you can adjust when you plant. You can plant really early or really late, but if you plant in the regular timing, you get squash bugs a lot worse. And they're flying insects, and they scent the growth hormones in the plant and attack the tender young plants and stuff. And they're real pain to get rid of once you get them on your plants. They just keep coming. Let's see. Not sure what's going on with that image. Just I seem to have a slow internet dial up here. So here I have 21 days, fuck cancer, entheogen, Genesis 111, Genesis 129. Part of Sacred Earth, Sacred Plant is maximizing returns on energy inputs like water flow. Least energy inputs return the greatest goods. See here, Breath of Green Dragon, Breath of Purple Dragon, frost rails on the 6th fan down from top at day 21. Close-ups of Dr. Dream All Cure, Cherry Cookies, Hindu Kush, and St. Bernard. So this is a 5x7, and I probably had a 1,000-watt lamp running at this time in there. It might have been even. I might still have the 1200 double-ended in there. That ended up blowing up on me. Did not replace it. It was kind of hot for that space. Okay, what we got there? A little praying mantis indoor, huh? Let's see. I realized I used a rim tint filter that completely hides all the huge difference defoliation makes. This is a major point of the post, really. So I should see some defol in here at some point. But crazy 21-day frost. This is what my genetics do. Genetics just sit on the shelf and no one buys. Yeah, I made. I got my check for $260 for the month of January seed sales. So this is really, I'm just shutting this stuff down. I'm documenting, and I'm so fucking over. I love helping people out, but I gotta survive too. I mean, I got teeth falling out. I need to fix. I got, so I literally could make more money at McDonald's than I do breeding. Yeah, I'm done with it. So I apologize to anyone who was hoping that I keep doing things. This is from my best friend. My mentor passed away. This is a funny one. 36 years ago today, I got hit by lightning while tripping on 5 hits of window pane LSD. Just one of the many stories from the book I'm working on. Good genes gone bad. Unfortunately, he ended up passing away soon after this from a heart attack and never got his book. He had just started, I'd been sending him seeds, and he was just starting to really get back into breeding. So I know 2 folks been struck. One was surfing. This guy, he's been struck 3 times. It's crazy that we owe him more than you might imagine. Hashtag immortals, hashtag living flesh, hashtag light beams, hashtag medicine man. One day I was skiing with him, and he watched me send my last real big air. Quote, "You went at least 70 feet, he told me. He headed off to his locker for a re-up on medicine, and I headed to the castle to get in line for some fresh white lines. He said, I'd see you over there. Several years later, he had a heart attack standing in that line. I found out later he hit a tree going 70 miles an hour not a minute after that jump. My nanny and he are best friends forever, and she was able to sneak my FICO into him in the ICU. 27 broken bones and punctured lungs. He ate a gram a day for 2 years and attributes this to his healing. This is the man I refer to as my mentor. To be sure, there are things he does I would chastise him for if it were my place to pass judgment. We're all humans. But I was just making cancer medicine yesterday, and here's a 30-gram FICO, right? And let's see, where did I put the man behind the curtain? Oz. So we got the capsules, right? And these are for my daughter's mother, who has an aggressive breast cancer right now. And I want to thank Olin Schumacher for throwing down dry sif CBD for me, and I've incorporated that into the medicine there. So next slide. Here's some cool stuff. Epigenetics. Both of these colas here are the exact same cut, same mother. There's nitrogen in the soil, etc. But look at the difference in the plants there. So what I didn't do was I did not defoliate the smaller ones quite as much. And here's another example. Where did I put my coffee down? Darker green, smaller. It's got that jump top, and then back there is one. I didn't defoliate this guy so much, but look at the difference. This is one of the larger ones. This was one of the smaller ones. The amount of nitrogen available at this point versus in the form of it's growing in, how much flower there is. These are epigenetic responses. Here's another one there. All right, so such things as the size of the plant. Here's some cool stuff. Epigenetics. What do you see in your garden or farm that may not be so obvious responses to variables? Do you get a positive response or look to dial in to remove that? Grow on. Hashtag #botany. Hashtag medicine man. Hashtag heal yourself. So Cradle to Grave says epigenetic is what's up. I've been trying to have a convo on it. One of the things I believe is that cannabis likes occasional stressors here and there. And if it doesn't happen, how so you got a solid line? Like a few days of cold temps, some drought conditions, etc. I have let my plants literally shrivel up and then water, and they were happy as heck. So a little jumbly on his, but he's saying the same thing I like to do: stress to figure out what's really the best part of the whole response to the environment, and figure out where your maximum yield is going to be. Some people find that stressing your plants will produce a little more THC. You can produce less larvae on your plant, things like that. So there's different ways of dialing in your system. Let's see. 45 days after light flip, 800 watts. It's too hot. Used. So what's this? July 26, and it gets way hot here in the summertime without fully air conditioning the house. It's pretty tough to maintain proper vapor pressure deficit, but it just gets too hot, and I've traditionally for 20 years just shut down indoor for 3 months in the summer. So let's see. Used to never run cycles in July and August, having issues. Turned down to 700 DHPS and shortened to 10.5 hours of light. I think it's too late for the Foxtails though. One is Dr. Dream All Cure. And this one's the Breath of Purple Dragon. Again, 45 days. And Comment B Nerdy says, the mold covered buds. Morning, Tank Chair. Thanks for joining on the Home Sly Studio channel over there under. So I was just noticing yesterday, and again, this is 131 weeks ago, August 11th. We had a couple of years of serious curly top or bushy top issues across the Intermountain West and Rocky Mountain desert regions. So and this is curly top beet virus, if I remember, is that right? And it transfers through the leaf hoppers, and this is something. So Utah, major sugar beet producer. We literally have a town called Sugar House, and we have high school football teams called the Beet Diggers. And as a way to get around the immorality of sugar cane plantations and slavery associated therein, people started growing sugar beets. And but one of the things that happened was this curly top disease, and it got pretty heavily infected across the hemp fields a few years back. And anyhow, so I was just noticing this yesterday. 33 years, and this is new. No vector for russets here. But last week I was asked by a fellow who's been touring Colorado and a lot more states, hemp farms. He was thinking it may be a boron deficiency. At first, I thought this was the thing folks say happens when you apply bloom chaos from nectar, NFTG, into an alkaline system. And then I saw a post asking about hemp farmers having curly top virus spread by grasshoppers. And I'm like, I kill 3 or 4 a day in the greenhouse. So as I'm a week into tart pull and pre-flower already had begun, I'm going to cut out curly damage and aggressively actively aerated worm tea. If it doesn't outright stop the virus, it should keep it in check and increase vigor overall. And it pretty much did. I cut out the most diseased parts and I sprayed it, and ended up getting some decent results and keeping it back. But we've learned over time that you just need to cut these ones out and call the losses and treat for the leaf hoppers. There's my buddy. There's my man. Like I said, a few weeks later, he ended up not being here anymore, so he never finished his book. Apparently, his family just raised the old farmhouse and dumped everything in the garbage. Unfortunately, there was seeds and hash and money. That he had jars of cash buried out throughout the property that hopefully somebody finds someday with a metal detector. Yeah. So fucking strong, he had a heart attack and thought it was a stomach bug. He was about to start breeding again. I'd hooked him up with a few packs already, and I'm going to be doing one last series of breeding, it seems. The Rotten Rob Raleigh Phoenix and Medicine Man. When a white light warrior shapeshifts to fight the next battle in the great war of Nevermore. So that was my rip post. When the good friend of yours passes on, what do you do? He and I were interacting before we ever met, and we changed the world together. I hope he's doing good things in his next meat suit. Hemp fiber, sun bleached hemp flowers, and my Colorado certified cold tolerant PM resistant mothership I sifted out 2 years ago. I still need to get testing. Ran some reel along to see how hot it gets. The clones are vegging for STS run going in. So I made a bunch of feminized hemp seed. That's all that's talking about. Let's see, nothing special. Just talking about old rule changes, but hemp fiber. You can see this stuff, and so this is retted naturally. Beautiful fiber. See how white that is. Stuff is so supple and soft. And you may have heard me tell the story of the hemp silk vest my grandmother had from the old country that was as soft as silk and the colors as bright as they were dyed the day before on the various trim pieces that were all embroidered and whatnot. So get beautiful hemp fiber here, and we still don't have enough of this going on in the States. Yeah, so I think I'm testing that hemp in the ground right there. And that would be what the flower is. Some of that hemp when it's all finished out. Breath of Red Dragon, landrace breeding, entheogen, THCV. What did I say? Sifton? I don't know why it says that. Sifton at about 21 days into depth from seed stock to some seed stock. So about 10 or 14 day equivalent to flipping a select cut. So yeah, after that's something that there's a slight difference from seed. It takes a little longer for the transition, and it's nothing to do. It's not the sexual maturity thing. It's adjusting. And once you've taking clones and stuff, it transitions and flowers out and finishes 7 to 10 days faster on average. It's not a hard rule. That's kind of an average. You can you get things done a little quicker from clone than you do from seed. Let's see. Nigerian Yoruba Bantu stud, Dr. Dream All Cure Mom, Sativa Hybrid Medicine Man. And let's see, Pure Anywhere has to say, I have a few of the Yoruba Bantu growing I got from you, and very different growth structure and everything else in the garden. Needle thin leaves, but not too long, and grows as short, compact bush. Then they are just transitioning into flower now, and not a lot of stretch. So far, looking really nice. Kind of lime green, almost yellowish, but healthy. Next to Afghans, I got their really bright green and a huge contrast. Just looking for the THCV, cloning each one. Oh my. Leaves remind me a lot of the Nigerian. So yeah, that would be because it's the Nigerian pollen. Male structure, transition structure considerably, or the pollen donor. What do we have here?
This here is my St. Bernard. Just got rained on. It's done for the season. Mid-July. And this is seeded with a 25% potential CBD. And so there should be a few packs of these coming out. But should be a 15 by 15 or better. Anyhow, St. Bernard, early harvest stuff. Talk about microbreeding. This here is my St. Bernard.
Microbreeding. That's in a little teeny little 1 gallon pot, and I totally seeded the crap out of it. Anyhow, so St. Bernard by Cherry Wine F3, and bred that considerably with some other to the Wolf from We Should Taste Good, Miles. And so early season genetics. St. Bernard starts to flower early, second week of July here. Super frosty, big shaggy colas can purple up in cool weather. This is the daughter of the Trident. See here, seeded with 25% potential hemp stud. A very limited number of it. So I do have those seeds. I never tested them. I sent some out, but I've never popped any. I have no way of doing the tests and such. We got a beautiful snowstorm coming in right now. I'm just kind of looking out the window at that. Beautiful day. Here's a praying mantis. Mantis looking ready to oviposit in Woof hemp seedling seeded by Tetra 4, Cherry Wine F3 Spectrum F2 from the Tetra guy, IPM Biological Controls, Web of Life. So that body starts really swelling up when it's time for them to lay eggs. They'll also hang upside down like this when they're molting. You see this one's gone through its multiple molts and has its full sets of wings. I've got 3 cases right now. I'm expecting the ones in the greenhouse to start popping open soon enough. I don't see it. It's right in the center. Right in the center there. When I lived in Tuolumne Meadows, Yosemite, part of my job was to chase bears. There were many remarkable stories in real time, but this one long-haired cinnamon, she and I danced often. We played hide and seek or forest tag, where I'd chase her into the woods, and she'd leave me standing in a patch of amanitas every time. And she would be sitting on the same stump waiting for me at the edge of the lodge parking lot, just laughing at me. Well, real-time information access was a word of mouth print in 1989. Bread of life, entheogen, man. Back then, the rumors were scrape off the white stuff and eat the rest. Eat the white stuff, toss the rest. Only the stem, only the top, only fresh. It has to be baked in the oven. It will kill you. So I never did go there. Funny thing is, I did gather and dry a nice bunch of them when you know. So I know where these grow now. I have patches of them that I can visit, and I've still not gone there with these particular. They sure are pretty when they're starting to burst, though, aren't they? Beautiful, beautiful calves. Young. So that was an Amanita subspecies that grows here in the Intermountain West. And the Sierras, I've seen both the red and the yellow tops. See big hemps, Hems run fall style, 2 tarps, 1 to block the light out, 1 to block the light in. Sacred plant. So I was growing up a bunch of hemp plants. I had like 30 of them there, I think, in 5 gallons, and it was a late run, and I was throwing a tarp over them at daytime or nighttime. There's some hemp fiber, isn't that beautiful?
Long bast fiber. So grab that CBD money while you can. That's going to be a couple of years of gold mining if you're lucky. There's 50,000 acre farms, and it's going to be like in every soft drink, tampon, and product. And $50 bottles won't be a very long deal. Anyhow, I have stuff that it's like Mulholland bringing water to California level niche markets that real industry investments. When people, they can't get folks to actually listen. Everyone wants to just grow dope or sell bottles of CBD. Anyhow.
So this is just the studio view here, and I'm showing. Oh, look, y'all. How's that for matrix crap? Yeah. So I'm running 2 streams at once, and things kind of pop in and out. But the Future Cannabis Project has all the imagery. So if you find the same title show,
soft drink, tampon, and products.
If you want to watch that,
and $50
appreciate you, Tank.
Won't be a very long deal.
So again, here's I got what am I showing here? I got blackout tarp on the main greenhouse in the background. I've got the hemp ones have so they're blackout curtains that I salvaged from remodeling like a $12 million cabin second home in Park City. And and I use those blackout curtains for small low tunnels for blockout. And there you can see exactly. So I have, this is twilight or early morning from where the light's at. And so I keep those covered over, and I'll pull the main tarp in the morning, and I usually put it, let the evening twilight roll through. What's this? So here's a bunch of hemp that I let go to full seed, and I seeded that out under the tarp. So I have some pretty large. That ended up dropping seed and doing a dry farm the next year with 2 inches from these amazing hemp. And you can see the stuff is extremely resinous, and people tell me that's not even hemp. But this is the Wolf by Tetra Spectrum cherry wine that I had handed all this off to Miles because I realized I couldn't do anything with it technically with testing and stuff, right? So I sent all of my hemp projects to Miles Felipe. Weed should taste good, and hopefully that stuff got worked into his projects. A little bit of snow in the local mountains. What was that? September 11 from 2019. Tells you what kind of growing season we have here, and also pointing out like looking at when snow falls in the Himalaya and the areas that, for instance, Arizona and Indian land race seed. I'm sorry. areas on the full power selections, and he's got a couple of different projects he works with there. They are, but the Indian landrace, and Deepak's awesome guy. So we were trying to figure out when, a couple of years prior to this, we were trying to figure out what seeds I could use from there to grow here. And our freezes happen way earlier. I ended up working with that New Mexico land grant instead of something from over yonder. Breath of Purple Dragon outdoor natural cycle, light depth 40 days, and some S1 expression at 30 days. I don't know what exactly I meant there. A pleasant mild nose of berries, classic weed stink. The smoke flavor is just classic cannabis, no frills. The front end is nondescript. The creep will floor your ass or set you on a couch watching visuals for 6 hours if you don't stop at one or two in a solid flower with visuals. That's what Cookie Wreck does to me. Well, I'm such a lightweight. Manual breathing after 2 hits. Danny Knowles in the comment section there. Knowles Family Farms is crushing it over in Oklahoma these days. Check them out if you haven't. Here's Breath of Red Dragon, Nigeria Yoruba Bantu pollen into Dr. Dream All-Cure, a Zion Curtain godsend genetic. So if you haven't Breath of Red Dragon, maybe you should. I sent cuts out. I have no idea what happened. I sent one to Peter. I never heard much after I saw Veg. But yeah, here's some of that Nigerian Breath of Red Dragon, just stacking. This stuff is frosted. I smoke bottoms. Hashtag big ass fucking soda pop bottle colas.
I believe this is Bong. I believe this is Bong.
Bong.
I believe this is Bong.
So for me, defoliate Tinder Tangy fans, and I was just seeing folks in India in my third eye as I worked, making and drinking buttered warm milk with fresh pulverized cannabis leaf, rejuvenating, exhilarating, invigorating, a long time coming. I also began my studies of cuneiform. Didn't get too far on the cuneiform studies, and was inspired to study Tamil language after the old Syrian. Sacred plant. Yeah, I ended up just studying what people translated so far, but that would be a fun one for as I get older. I really do want to learn cuneiform and read the old clay tablets of Assyria, not Syrian. Cool. Yeah. So bang, hot milk. And you can use I know there's different preparations of this, and this super mild one here, just using fan leaves even, or even some of the smaller sugar leaves, whatever, and pureed into a blender with hot milk. Like if you ever done like golden milk with turmeric, it like 10 minutes later, like all my arthritis, I feel like a baby from the turmeric. This stuff here is even more so. It acts. You get that little bit THCA, you get the little bit of CBD, and there's there's most leaf has a little CBD in it. But I don't know how to describe it other than it's like invigorating, rejuvenating, and uplifting. It gives me a shit ton of energy. This is one of those things that, like when I was firefighting, I would have loved to have had on when you're all run down and you need an extra boost of energy. This would be something that if I was working a harvest and winter was coming on fast and the cold days were getting shorter, I would love to have something like this out in the field. It's not something that's going to waste you. It's not a party drug. It's not. I bet it actually has amazing medicinal properties as well, and I know it's something that they do as a regular basis in India. I know also that they'll do like what they call a bong lassi. And they'll be putting like extracts or increasing the THC level in it. So there's definitely different ways of doing this. Again, this is the most plain, basic, just fan leaves and a few sugar leaves pureed in with the hot milk. And that made it I love that shit. That's great stuff. What do we got? Oh, I'm showing how the tarps work and things here. So I've been so fucking poor since I found out my neck broke 2 times amongst the 7 blown discs in my fully arthritic spine. I really had to stop working, right? And trying to compete with California and Oregon and everybody mass producing shit's just ridiculous, but whatever. So amongst 7 blown discs and fully arthritic spine, 2 edema in my thoracic. It's been 4 years since my irrigation worked, and I got my plumbing in my yard all fixed up already. But they have that programmed in obsolescence, right? So I totally built an irrigation for this house when I bought the property and went to go repair it, and all the shit, they don't even make it anymore. They don't make repair parts. I had to completely replace the entire irrigation system, manifolds and pumps and valves and stuff, right? So it's been 4 years since my irrigation worked, and my greenhouses have needed new covers for at least 7 years. Reskinning the greenhouse solo double layer with in-sealed and separate panels alone is an innovative endeavor. Anyway, I'm working away and I hear a fucking helicopter. It flies right over my yard and then circled around. I've been transitioning to hemp, and I reskinned so I can do a hemp seed production this autumn. About 50 hemp plants exposed in my yard, and the fucking irony is I get a visit for fucking hemp seeds. Lol. The adrenaline is intense. I honestly can't remember if it circled once or twice. Actually, after I thought about it, it was 3 or 4 times. But I was standing next to the pictured bunch of hemp and gave him the big giant air cock stroke. Fuck him, it's hemp. And then they will still try and fuck with me for it. But that 1A and color of law conspiracy clause in the Constitution, and that really just lands in the Incarcerated Persons Act of 2000. I helped the manifestation of, along with my mentor, mighty powerful law of the land. The greenhouse film needs to be tacked down. And I got the mini squirrel fan to gonna get plant peas and greens to eat as well. Grow on. Hashtag fuck cancer. Fuck spinal edema. Fuck arthritis. Fuck Vickers, the opiate dealing senator. Reinstate Prop 2, entheogen, sacred or sacred plant, Genesis 111, Genesis 128. Bro, we have made the lame walk, the blind see, the broken bones, no problem. Stolen patients from hospital before being operated on to install metal pins. Now patient is 100% of our patients last year. So this is my Sans Bushman medicine man friend down in South Africa. So you can see the old torn skins. These things, they'll last forever. They do the job. But I have here's the double. I got it all spread out on the street, getting the whole thing lined up. How do you skin a greenhouse? Cutting the lengths. Get the whole thing dialed out. So folding it back up so I can lay it out properly. What's this? Oh, here's my irrigation. I got dialed back in. Fuck. I don't even put this in there. I found a whole freaking thing of sod. It's sodded in this dead area of my lawn. Fixed the irrigation. I guess that I didn't even get all this proper in the ramble. That sod, my fucking soil here is so bad. That sod's all dead. It's the funniest shit. Alkali sand. There's all that hemp. Yeah, they wanted me to do broker. These guys wanted me to broker, but like again, I couldn't get a hemp license here at my micro farm. This is funny. So some of you may or may not have seen this is some of the first hemp crops in Utah. And you can see but they didn't get stuff planted till I think it was mid-July. And we did drive about 420 miles a day, look at farm properties. I got a buddy he's got his real estate license that's specific for preserving old farms. We were driving around. We found a couple of hemp startups along the way. I was thinking the big investment was hurting till we stumbled on. The big investment was hurting till we stumbled onto this. So we saw one that was like a a guy from Colorado had come over and did a drip line plastic, bad looking, but here's 20. Yeah, you can see how bad that is. So they tried direct seeding, and when it's just too fucking hot already, the soil had dried out, and I've shown, and I wish I could get anybody to understand that we can dry farm by direct seeding, either in the fall or earlier in the spring when the ground is moist here. So again, just like some really sad hemp plants. A lot of people lost a lot of money buying seed that year and planting it way too freaking late, just because of legislation and stuff was when it was allowed to go through. So there's the Colorado hemp farm or startup. You can see some gaps and stuff in there, and right. So there's, I guess it wasn't all that bad considering how late they got started, but other photos I had seen, expectations would have been higher. And I tried to offer help and was told, we got a guy with dreadlocks. He knows what he's doing. But this is cool because this is the first time I ever saw legal cannabis in Utah. Oh, I can smell it now. I can smell it now.
Wow.
So this is an 80-acre hemp farm here in Utah, and it's pretty sad looking.
Yeah, it's very sad looking.
So actually, there's two different
farms.
Two different farms connected, but there's a lot of disease. Teeny plants. They got in late, it looks like. I left my information. There's a lot of weeds, a lot of sadness going on.
Yeah, there's a lot of brownness going on, yellowing.
Maybe they'll find my advertisement and I'll be able to help them out.
Here's where I don't know if they're using it at all, Alex.
That's what I'm saying. It looks like
No.
I just left it. This is the old farmhouse I was looking at. I found an amazing piece of property. I wish I could have jumped on it, but it was a little about $20,000 more than my house was worth. I could have gotten if I had sold it at the time. So we didn't. It ended up selling a couple weeks or so later. Anyhow, let's ask a little K&M. Living art. What is he? Someone asked, "What is it?" View replies, pedicle of microbes transforming ethanol and residual sugars to acids. Pellicil. You're going to be busy if you're going to take being my editor. Yeah, I got spelling issues. Oops, what'd I do? That's not what I meant to do. Well, we can do like this, though. Where is this? See. What are we doing for time? 8:43. Great. I don't know why my internet's so freaking slow. Somewhere in here. I wonder if I missed a bunch by accident. Sorry, folks. Let's see. I was somewhere in. Somewhere right around in here, wasn't I? Let's see. I think I was way past this. Anyone point me the name of the cannabis oil? What is this? 140. What is this? I'm trying to find a date on these. June 14, 2019. So yeah, I think I missed a bunch of this. I cry thinking about the loved ones I could not help. My soul soars as my spine tingles, knowing I've made a difference where and when it's possible to do so. I swear the chemo and radiation surgery is what kills them. That and the false hopes placed in CBD cell death in cancer cells. CBD has other actions that are great, but without the THC, it's not going to do the job. I administer cold processed THCA to allow the body to metabolize as needed with Delta-9 THC. Administering Delta-9 is less effective in my comprehensions. The body will metabolize via enzyme to the carboxy 11, which is a hallucinogen. and will not be available to the job in quantities administered. I also administer dandelion root and cannabis and holy anointing oil with frankincense, myrrh, cinnamon. That stuff alone will cure what ails you. Fuck cancer, heal yourself. Fico, entheogen, medicine man. Yeah, no, I went through these last week. All right. We're exhausted all conventional measures. One last desperate option is to put you on an alternative natural medicine that has 90% success rate. Let's see if I can catch this up here. That's where we started today. Buddy Rob, quick review. Oh, we're getting close. Bang! Greenhouse. Scraggly hemp. There we go. All right, we're back. Yeah, that was one I was looking at. That was the one we went and looked at. That would have been awesome to hop on. But you know, the whole thing with 20 acres of hemp, I would have lost my fucking ass. Well, had I bought it, I'd have a farm right now and a home with no payments. I would have it set up with some greenhouses and producing food as well. There's a lot of tourism around there. There's a lot of just growth, right? And so this whole section we're looking at there at the bottom of this picture here, this is a freeway intersection, and that actually I saw it as a potential for as things continue to grow. And so that Highway 89 right there is a scenic byway. People come from around the world to travel. It goes down to Highway 12. You might have known in the Red Rock country. And this shows great potential for like farm stands and mini mart for green thought people. But was looking at this farm in central Utah. It has dirt and water, 260 days of sun. There was an offer ahead of us. It was about 10,000 more than my equity if I sold my house. So no one stepped up to help me on that investment, and it went bye-bye. There was the house I was showing you the key from. Had a couple of buildings, some garden zones. Just amazing. There's gold up in those mountains. There's backcountry skiing. You can see I would have had there's also a hot spring over just in the top right corner there of the picture. The destination owned by an old deadhead whose bus broke down traveling back to Colorado from California shows. Breath of Turquoise Dragon, grown in Spain. So yeah, I actually did send a few of those out. Dr. Dream All Cure by 1700 New Mexico Old Spanish Land Grant. Only a handful of folks have been blessed by this genetic. The New Mexico Land Grant is likely the only true North American landrace THC genetic. Fellow in New Mexico, been growing 30 years, ran it a few years back, the Breath of Turquoise Dragon. He had 30 strains in his garden that year. He said the turquoise was the stankiest, skunkiest thing he had ever, period. And I got to agree, that one's got to be one of the stankiest freaking. Let's see. Breeding out after the F1, though, has been tough. That F1 was really where it was freaking at. I think I got to F3 and would like to open those things back up again. Without having financial returns for doing this shit, it's extremely difficult for me to continue. There's a passion and there's dedication, and then there's the fact that I got teeth falling out of my fucking mouth. I need to fix. Growing season is technically over. This is the test. This is only a test and not the only test. I have some things that do not follow the rules. So you can see here we got down. That's indoor, outdoor in my kitchen, showing it's gold. But yes, I found things do survive below freezing just fine. When you're breeding and the runty rejects that were too small to clone at transition get all biblical, there she lusted for her lovers with genitals like those of donkeys. Hashtag donkey dick, Breath of Red Dragon, Dr. Dream All Cure, Nigerian Yoruba Bantu. You gotta love that quote of the Bible, though. There she lusted for her lovers with genitals like those of donkeys. The missions, yeah. Zion Curtin Godson Genetics, Into the Botany, Plant Medicine, Sacred Earth, Sacred Plant, Genesis 111, 129, Medicine Man. Dope. Same thing here. 2 phenos with heavy nose, not pollinated, no cuts. They were runts, not noticed. And that's my Sans Medicine Bush doctor friend. Again, yeah. So this is the Breath of Red Dragon reject, right? When I ran 70, that's like the worst you're going to get out of a pack of those. There should be some of those at Daga still. How's that for Sacred Geometry? There's some of my Blue Corn Woman. Purple, white, blue corn. These are different stages of having been. You can see when they're all swollen and stuff. That's the perfect time. You can see how they're shrunken, and that shows the sweetness, the SS, the hybrid. So I knew these with an open pollination. Down in the bottom corner here, you can see something that's really cool. It's the Tzotzili genetic, and what we have there is both tassels and silk coming off of the ear. And so through hybridization and modern selection and stuff over thousands and thousands of years, the corn was bred to where it had 2 different parts. But again, this is corn. It's all old genetic, and it shows us some of that stuff. It's pretty cool. Comes through the Tzotzili. Separating these guys. All I have left in my hemp garden. I keep separating them, trying to keep them apart. I just see them fighting. And so whatever. They want to do their thing. Not exactly sure what's going on. Hold this as still as I can. Just do the leaves at them. I'm trying to break them up again, but there we go. I don't know what. So maybe you realize that I don't want to fight. I don't know. The last 2, I want them both sitting here eating food. There you go. So I think one was a male and one's a female when they were mating. I was just shooting my own foot there with the reproduction process. Hemp garden. I keep separating them, trying to keep them apart. I just see them fighting. And so whatever. They want to do their thing. Not exactly sure what's going on. As I can. Just do the leaves at them. I'm trying to break them up again. There we go. That shorter one would be the female, I guess, and the longer one would be the male.
So I'm trying to figure out what was wrong with my Breath of Green Dragon. It was really hurting as it came into the finish here. And you can see all these crinkled up leaves. I was chopping some branches off, and what I find is the deep freeze completely girdled this thing. Look at it still cranking. And this is the bottoms. This is why I say pound I smoke bottoms. My bottoms on my girdled plants were frost here. Look, one focus. Yeah, you can focus. There you go.
Pretty crazy, huh?
Crazy stuff, huh? This plant is completely grilled in multiple places. And
the plant is dead.
12 degrees here in a couple
This is
of
the
minutes.
strength of my genetics. This is Breath of Green Dragon after it's been
I'm trying to
completely
figure out what's
girdled.
wrong with my Breath of Green Dragon. It was really hurting as it came.
This is Breath of Green Dragon. I always say your plant is dead when it gets girdled. Well, this is what happens from 23 F direct exposure. The water in the live stem. So again, in the greenhouse, it doesn't get the hardening off as much. Or this is a cold frame. I don't think I had any heat in here. So without any heat into it, and then it gets a hard freeze. It's a lot different than the slow transitions. Okay. And so there's a big difference in those things. You can see that in the springtime. I got folks that are sending me pictures of their seedlings that are getting a hard freeze after a mild spring start. And although sometimes it looks like it might be some Pythium going on as well in the cold soils, but folks are definitely trying to try this earlier starts that and pushing the cold temperatures that I advocate towards. So, well, this is what happens with 23F direct exposure. The water in the live stems froze and exploded. I just noticed this tonight. Okay, this is 2 weeks after the deep freeze, right? So I was trying to figure out why it was yellowing and stuff. And this thing just kept freaking cranking for 2 weeks after it was dead. I don't know. Anyhow, it'd be nice if people could really understand what it is that I'm doing and support it. But unfortunately, I get a maximum, it seems, of 700 of you watching the show, and that's a pretty small reach. Super psyched. I took the risk and spent money I don't have on this gas ventless radiant heater. So I went and bought a heater for the greenhouse. You can see my Hydrus heat sink tubes as well. Okay, so this is showing the temperature, humidity in the greenhouse. Humidity is pretty high. Temperature at 40 something. There's the mantis hanging out. Peppers are hanging in there. Cold tolerant hemp is super happy. My fig taking it out. Managed to keep that little heater. It's 14 degrees outside. It is 50 something in here. So hemp is happy. Got a couple of medicinal plants finishing out. Here's my male. Just about to say pollen for everyone. And here's the cold tolerant hemp at 30 days. Actually, it's 28. And that is my cash crop. These seeds from these hemp plants this year. And I just bought this greenhouse heater and I'm stoked. This guy is still hanging out. So here's the greenhouse. You can see this is my first view. There's some frost on the inside. It's so cold. Here's my vapor barrier door. It sucks moisture out. It freezes it. That creates a whole nother barrier. You can see moisture. Allows a little bit of breathing. Here's my exhaust is covered with a frost blanket. It doesn't just blast heat out. This is a single layer here. See how much more ice formed up on it than the double layers. And I guess I got a little bit of a see-through here. That's crazy. He's got the you can't have them completely sealed up or hyperventilate. Carbon monoxide poisoning. Anyhow, that's insulation. I shouldn't do that. But here's the greenhouse. You can see this is my first view. Ice on the inside, so that cold air getting pushed through. This black tube you got right there is a heat distributor. I got a water pump and a 50-gallon tank, and it can take water in the day and or heat in the day and heat at night, distribute it at night. So that's, I think, showing the wall sides inside there, but anyhow, greenhouse is nice. We're kind of right there at that time. So here's a purple cherry dragon kush FF1. I wish there was more of that seed out there. This was a feminized seed test reject. Others were scragglier, but the keepers were way better. I sifted out 2 from 30. I'm sure many of my rejects are cup winning material. I don't have the facility to keep them all, especially when I know I made the seeds and I have more seeds. Basically, if you get a pack of Breath of Purple Dragon FF1, this is your #iSmoke bottoms selection. Love y'all. Have a great life. Go out and do wonderful things. Make the world a better place. Appreciate y'all. Appreciate what you do. Because it's probably something I can't. Cool. So I'm going to be signing off till next week. Y'all have a great time living your life in the meat suit that you got. And that's a stop streaming. Boom. Thanks, Studio View. Have a great day, folks. Peace out.